Now in the last part I mentioned that I needed to catch a few Pokemon in order to reach the 10 I needed to get the Flash HM. Well, here I'm going to try and look for Caterpie because it's rather easy to evolve twice. I could level it up to 10 at the entrance to Rock Tunnel, and there it's 3 Pokédex entries right off the bat. I suppose I could catch a Weedle since they're a lot more common in red. Caterpie just has, what, a 5% chance of showing up in red, while the odds are reversed in blue. But I prefer Caterpie because, well, I like Butterfree better. It's always been the case, and it's not gonna stop now. And that preference is pretty much down to which moves the two have. Butterfree has Confusion right off the bat, and it learns all three powders soon after. Okay, now this is going to be a little long battle because it's a Kakuna level 7 that keeps using Harden, and I still haven't gotten Vine Whip. It's gonna come at level 13. So what I did was the exact same thing as for Blue's Pokemon. I opened with Leech Seed so that it would at least deal damage independently of the number of Hardens it has under its belt. And after that I just keep spamming Tackle in hopes it's going to go down eventually. This is long and tedious, though that critical sure helped. And there's a level up, which shouldn't be much of a surprise. I mean, Kakuna and Metapod give a lot of experience for their difficulty level. I mean, sure, they take a lot of PP to beat, but you're practically invincible while fighting them, unless, of course, you end up struggling, but that's another ball game entirely. Now, Viridian Forest's a pretty boring part. I mean, there's not much that happens. Fight bug catchers, fight wild bugs, maybe the odd Pikachu or the odd Pidgeotto for yellow players, but other than that, it's not really interesting. So I think I might actually explore what the 99.6 glitch actually is. No, wait. Let's stop there for a second because I just noticed something weird. So this sign right there said, contact Professor Oak to get your Pokédex evaluated and blah 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 blah. But isn't the Pokédex supposed to be a brand new invention? And if it is the case, then who put that sign there? I mean, even the coffee guy back in part 3 talked to me about the Pokédex. And so I don't really get why everyone already knows about it since it's supposed to be brand new. Well, it is, of course, a fact that in RPGs, the news travel a lot faster than you do, so maybe that's just what it is, but still doesn't explain how it happens all the time. And to push that line of thought a little bit further, have you noticed how every single NPC in the world constantly talk about Pokemon all the time? I mean, sure, once again, that's the case in a lot of RPGs, but there are still various subjects in each RPG that each NPC can explore. But here, there's only one thing, and that's Pokemon, Pokemon, Pokemon. I mean, imagine for a second that you go to Toronto and every single soul constantly talks about the Maple Leafs. It would be pretty sad, and it would be pretty depressing too, as things haven't been going well for the Leafs for the last couple of years. So yeah, that 99.6 glitch I was going to talk about. The basics of this are, whenever the game wants to determine if an attack is going to hit or not, it generates a number between 0 and 255. And after that, it multiplies, to make it simple, it multiplies the accuracy we know, like the 80% of Hydro Pump, for example, it multiplies it by a 2.55. So that number, let's call it X. And if the number generated is lower than X, then it's gonna hit, and if it's higher, then it's gonna miss. Now the way that it's supposed to work normally is that if the number is lower than or equal to X, then it hits. However, in red, blue, and yellow, that's not the case. It's only if it's lower than X that it's gonna hit. So, a move with 100% accuracy, like Thunderbolt, for example, well, what happens is that you multiply 100 by 2.55, it gives you 255. The number generated needs to be lower than 255. But if the number generated... Oh, that one was fun. Here's a potion right next to the bug catcher, and if you talk to him, he'll just say that he's looking for something he dropped on the ground, and I just found it and I'm gonna run away with it. Heh. So long, sucker! Anyway, as I was gonna say, if the number generated is 255, the attack that supposedly has perfect accuracy, it's gonna miss. And one thing to note is that even Swift falls under this rule, because Swift, it hits through accuracy drops, evasion rises, dig, fly, all that stuff, but it still goes through that step of number generation. So it can still miss on the premise that 255 is not lower than 255. So yeah, if Swift isn't exempt from this, what makes you think anything else can? And the funny thing about that glitch is that there are a lot of people who think it still lives on to this day, when it was actually fixed in gold, silver, and crystal. I think it was fixed in Stadium as well, but I'm not too sure about that one. Now, moving on to something else entirely. Everyone I've talked to about this pretty much agrees with me. I don't know if you do as well, but it's about the music in this game. Now, despite the fact that this game is much older than its remakes Fire Red and Leaf Green, the music still sounds a lot better here. I mean, listen. Sounds primitive, but it does the job pretty well. And how hard can it be to just bring that music up to the level you'd expect from a Game Boy Advance? And they just messed up spectacularly. I don't know how they did it, but they did, especially the battle themes. The overworld isn't too bad, but whenever you enter battle, the music just makes me cringe. And it's not like it was better in Gold, Silver, Crystal either. In fact, I think it was worse. Now, I've ranted a lot on how the return to Kanto in Gold, Silver, Crystal was one of the biggest failures ever in the franchise. But that music's just part of it, you know. Oh, that one's classic. Your first introduction with the Jigglypuff song. I think someone actually sang it while auditioning for American Idol. Don't know if that's true or not, but I would have loved to see the look on Simon Cowell's face. That must have been priceless. Anyway, there was this NPC outside while I was talking about everything and nothing, and he talked about Brock's dedication when it came to training Pokémon. Personally, I have to question that, because from what I know, isn't he supposed to be too distracted by girls to pay any attention to his Pokémon or something? Well, to be fair, that's the games Brock we're talking about. We never saw any of his Captain Testosterone antics in the games, and this pretty much begs the question: is the games Brock the same as the anime's Brock? And that's something I want to cover later, because I have a lot to say on this subject. So now I'm exploring Pewter City. It's pretty much a shame that it hasn't got the same entertainment value as Viridian City, because it's pretty bland overall, except for the fact that you face your first gym battle and all. Oh, that guy, yes, he keeps spraying repel to keep Pokemon out of his garden. Well, there's really no need for that, because... Oh, and that one's classic. Just when I say Pewter City's pretty bland, here comes a sign that pretty much says the same. I mean, a stone gray city? I don't find it particularly inspiring. Anyway, that guy didn't need to spray repel, because usually Pokemon keep to their tall grass, aside from the Weedle that the coffee man caught earlier on. Oh, now that guy's gonna take me to the museum, but there's a fee for entering, and what do you get for it? Nothing! Do not want! Okay? I'm not gonna get inside, for now at least. Yeah, when I say I'm stingy, you better believe that. Now, I'm going to end this right now, and we're going to see the remainder of Pewter City next time.